Okay.
And I'm working towards getting a Series 65. That means I can do annuities and those things. That'll be good. It's like, told you, it's like drinking out of a fire hose.
My candy or yours?
It must be yours.
I know that. We'll do
Arm
trusts
wrestle for it.
and things like that.
Let's see.
If somebody wants some help, having members of the family and things like that, and get things straight in their mind before they're talking.
Good evening. I'd like to call this regular meeting of the Show City Council to order. By roll call, see that all council members are present at this time, with the exception of Council Member Kelly. I would like to welcome those that are here with us tonight in the council chambers, as well as those who may be watching on City 56 or some other means this evening. We'd like to begin this evening with an invocation and followed by the Pledge of Allegiance. We have Troop 733 who will be leading us in the Pledge of Allegiance following the invocation. Those who'd like to join with us, please stand. Our dear Heavenly Father, we're grateful for this evening, for the opportunity we have to meet together to deliberate the affairs of the city of Show. We're grateful for the citizens who live within our community and for the good that they do and for the peaceful surroundings that we have, Father. We're grateful for the moisture and the blessings that it has given our land, and pray that if it be thy will, it will continue. We ask you to bless those who are from this area who may be in harm's way with the armed forces or serving in other means, that they'll be watched over and protected. We're grateful for our youth and for the young men and women who are growing up here, and pray that we might take a serious effort on helping them understand life and the decisions and consequences that go with it. We're grateful for the opportunity we have to live here in a favorable situation and for the beautiful surroundings that we have. And we ask for thy blessings this night as we deliberate the meeting, that we'll be able to do so in an orderly manner. And these things we ask in the name of thy Son, Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen.
Will everyone join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Troop 733. We appreciate you being with us tonight and doing that. First item we have is call to the public. Any citizen desiring to speak on a matter that is not scheduled on the agenda this evening may do so at this time. Please know that your time is limited to 3 minutes. Seeing nobody move to call to the public, I'll close call to the public and come back to the consent calendar. Item 6A has been pulled by staff this evening. Is there any other items of council that needs to be reviewed or not? I'll read the items that we have. We have a consideration of acceptance of 4th Avenue water line replacement project. We have a consideration of award of a purchase of chlorine for water wells and waste treatment plant. Consideration of award of a purchase of water meters for water meter exchange program and stock meters. Consideration of award of a purchase of a commercial mower for Show Regional Airport. Consideration of award of purchase of required testing services for wastewater and wastewater systems, and the consideration of Resolution R 2016-17, approving intergovernmental agreement with Navajo County and accepting Edward G. Byrne Memorial Justice Assistant Grant Funds, and then the consideration of the minutes of the regular meeting of August 2nd, 2016. Any,
So
you
moved.
have a motion by Vice Mayor, seconded by Councilmember Hatch. Any other discussion? This time I'll call for the vote. All those in favor? Any opposed? See that passed 7-0 this time. Next item we have is new business. Consideration of Resolution R 2016-19, approving intergovernmental facilities agreement between the City of Show Low and Navajo County. Who wants to go first? City Attorney, Mr. Morgan Brown.
The City Council has approved and construction has begun on the Public Safety Headquarters Building at 411 East Deuce Clubs. When the project was in the preliminary phases, the City of Navajo County began discussions about partnering and combining public safety resources for the citizens of Show Low and the county, thus saving resources and taxpayer dollars. The Public Safety Building will include a shared holding facility and combined offices for the County Sheriff's Department and the City of Show Low Police Department. Sharing space will create a more convenient one-stop shop for citizens to go for their public safety needs. The county agreed to enter into a long-term 20-year lease with the city and agreed to pay $900,000 toward the lease by June 30th of 2017. This would help offset construction costs of the facility. The lease can be extended for an additional 5-year period with the lease rate negotiated at that time. The lease will begin when a certificate of occupancy is issued for the building and county personnel can move in. The county has also agreed to help the city do additional remodeling work on the existing police facility for an evidence and document storage. Also in assisting in remodeling the existing outbuilding behind the new public safety building and to assist the city with other remodeling work as needed. As part of the lease, the county will pay its proportionate share, which is estimated to be about 25% of the operational costs. This would include the utilities, maintenance, insurance, and other costs. This intergovernmental facilities agreement was presented to the County Board of Supervisors at its meeting on August 9th, 2016, when it was unanimously approved. Staff recommends adopting resolution number R 2016-19, approving the intergovernmental facilities agreement between the city and Navajo County. In addition to the county leasing a portion of the building, the Northeast Arizona Regional Dispatch Center will also lease a portion of the building for the Regional Dispatch Center when it's operational. And staff is available for any questions.
Any questions of staff at all? As always, if there's anybody in the public who wants to ask anything of these, you're welcome to on any of these items that are on the agenda as well. Seeing no questions, Councilmember Alsop.
Thank you, Mayor. You know, it's always been a great partnership with Navajo County, and I want to thank supervisors and staff of Navajo County when they come in and work with us and be a part of this. So we definitely thank you for your partnership.
Councilmember Crittenden.
I move to adopt resolution number R 2016-19, approving the intergovernmental facilities agreement between the City of Show Low and Navajo County, and authorize the mayor to sign all documents necessary to approve the agreement.
We have a motion. Is there a second? Second by Councilwoman Kukovis. Any other discussion? Vice Mayor?
Just real quick, I'm sure it's in here somewhere, but what is if they want it out of the contract, well, how long of a notice? What is the normal procedure for that? New sheriff comes in, decides he doesn't want it. Is there a year? I'm sure it's in the contract somewhere. Just what is that?
Well, they're prepaying the $900,000 this year, so if they.
So they're probably not gonna
We're
want to
not
run
going
it
to
out
want
of
to get
there.
out of it for 20 years. At the end of the 20-year period, I think it talks about that they would give us, let's see if I can find it. I think it was a 6-month notice that they were going to vacate at the end of the 20 years or to renew it for an additional 5 years. So,
And there's no dollar figure, just the 25% or whatever that is.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, what we'd have to do is figure out monthly what that is because it could vary. The utilities and different things could vary from month to month. So we send them a monthly bill of what that 25% is.
Any other discussion? Seeing none, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor? Any opposed? See that passed 7-0. Thank you. Next item is item 7B, consideration of resolution R 2016-18, adopting procedural policies and application guidelines for the Industrial Development Authority of the City of Show Low. Mr. Brown.
Thank you, Mayor. The Industrial Development Authority of the City of Shoalo promotes industry and develops trade in the greater City of Shoalo area to stimulate and encourage producing, developing, and using agricultural products and natural resources to assist financially and otherwise in rehabilitating, expanding, and developing various businesses and industries, and to ensure job opportunities in the area. Projects that are typically funded by the IDA are generally multi-million-dollar projects related to the hospital and its expansion, the biomass plant near Snowflake, and other similar projects. Many times the request is to approve refinancing these projects. Funding requests require a substantial amount of administrative time and services from the city attorney, the administrative services director, and the city manager. In addition, several meetings of the IDA board are required. And we had discussed this at our retreat last October, that we would be going through this process. And staff is recommending that the application process include a fee of $3,000 to cover the administrative costs of the application. Staff is not recommending any further annual fees, but the applicant is required to cover all other costs of the application. And staff has researched other municipalities within the state that have an IDA, and all of them have procedures and policies in place similar to those that the staff is suggesting. These policies and procedures will help clarify the application process when we get one, but there currently are no applications pending. These policies and procedures were presented to the Industrial Development Authority Board at its August 3rd meeting and were adopted unanimously by the board as a recommendation to the City Council. In discussing this a little bit earlier with the city manager today, we did find that there was maybe one place in here that requires some further clarification. That would be under section 4 of the application procedure. And what we're recommending is that a sentence in there be changed just slightly to clarify it. So the second sentence of that second paragraph on page 5 would read, in the application, the user must agree to pay all costs, expenses, and penalties. So, and penalties would be added, which are incurred by the city. That would be added in, and then the authority, its board, etc. So just two slight changes there, but we think it clarifies it just a little bit, that if there's any, we get any penalties that are associated through this application process, that they would agree to pay any of those that come up. And so if you have any questions, let me know. Staff is available.
Would that clause of the, would that clause of the penalty be, would it included, like last time we went ahead and issued one, and then because we had issued one of these bonds, we had a little higher rate or something that we had, would that be able to retroactive that back and impose that upon them or not?
To go retroactively to the one we previously had?
But, well,
Probably
not now, but I'm saying with this in place now,
Yes.
and we issued a new one, and we ran into the same thing when we went to go to bond because we had that out. I think it was a small fee that we had to pay as a result of issuing one. Could that be passed on?
Yes, that's the intent of it.
Councilmember Kelly.
So is it fair to say, for a simple-minded person like me, that the city is being accommodating to do this for people? We get nothing out of it. We shouldn't have to pay anything for being accommodating. And now we have a fee to cover some staff time. But if the city incurs other expenses, it falls back on the applicant. Is that fair to say it that way?
That's correct. That's the way to say it.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other discussion? Not a look for a motion. Councilmember Crittenden.
I move to adopt resolution number R2016-18, adopting procedural policies and application guidelines for the Industrial Development Authority of the City of Shoalo.
There's a motion, there's a second by Councilmember Kelly. Any other discussion? Call for the vote. All those in favor? Any opposed? I see that passed 7-0. Next item is item 7C, consideration of acceptance of construction of the cemetery expansion irrigation and seeding project, City of Shoalo project PR-0516, and approve of the change order. Mr. Cup.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. The 2016 Capital Improvements Program, including funded for cemetery expansion, irrigation, and seeding improvements at the city cemetery. Scope of work included installing an irrigation system, placing topsoil, and seeding a cemetery site of 0.75 acres in area, and that's the area that's shown on your screens there inside of the loop road. Bid documents were prepared by city engineering staff, and the project was publicly bid. At its May 17th, 2016 meeting, City Council awarded the contract to It's Magic Landscape and Design in the amount of $61,432.42. The project specifications called for 2 inches of topsoil to be placed, and the contractor had some difficulty meeting the 2-inch specification. The final thickness was about 2¼ inches. Before regrading the material and tried to spread it thinner, staff and the contractor determined that it would be a better finished project if the additional thickness remained in place. As a result, an additional 40 cubic yards of material were used. The city and the contractor agreed to split this additional cost, and the city's half is $1,227.81, including taxes, bringing the total project cost to $62,660.23. Staff recommends accepting the construction of the cemetery expansion, irrigation, and seeding project, City of Shoalo project number PR 0516, approving the change order in the amount of $1,227.81, releasing the retainage, and beginning the warranty period. And I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Any questions? Vice Mayor?
Mr. Cup, a couple questions. Was there some water damage to that? Is that what a lot of that was, why we couldn't get the depth? Wasn't there
They
some
actually
runoff from that
they
after?
actually had all the topsoil placed, and then the sod farm had a delay. And in the meantime, between the placing of the topsoil, which included that additional 40 yards, and the sod being placed, there was a big rainstorm and it washed some of that topsoil away. That, however, was that replacing that and repairing that was at the contractor's cost because of the way the specifications were written. So we didn't pay anything for that storm damage.
Okay, and the other real quick question I have, it says and seeding. We put topsoil on that. What's the and seeding? Because we didn't seed there.
Well,
too, right?
we sodded, and that's a little bit of I don't want to say misleading, but council actually voted to change it from seeding
Right.
to laying sod on the project.
So we really didn't spend any more on seeding than just, it was
No.
all sod. It just says and seeding the cemetery. Thank you.
Councilmember Crittenden.
The water that runs down at the bottom end of that, and is that a temporary type thing that's gonna happen when the watering takes place? Runs across the road, all the way down and erodes?
Yeah, right now, and actually immediately following the installation, they were putting a lot of water on that, and that's generally what they do when they place sod, is they get it really soaked. It helps establish the roots and such. They've cut back some, but they're still putting a lot of water in. I went out and looked at it today, and even on the top end, it's still pretty squishy and wet. So as they get back to normal watering, there should be less water down there at the bottom.
Councilmember Alsop.
Thank you, Mayor. Bill, I just, I know we've been writing you for change orders and everything else, but I know it's hard to get a quarter of an inch off, so I'm not, but is there a place there that has about 6 inches higher? So if I can buy a plot there and act like I'm on a pitching mound, I just want to make sure that there's at least something in there for me.
I'm sure we'd accommodate you.
Thank you. And I know, like Vice Mayor is saying, I read this, I like, dang it, what's the seeding project? We sodded this thing, so I'm kind of glad we did after seeing the erosion and everything else. I'm thinking the sod was the bigger thing. But I had to get you a little bit on this here because I know it's hard to scrape a quarter inch off for that much, so, but just make sure you pile it up with 6 inches deep at one place, so thank you.
You got it.
Did we design the sprinkler system or did the?
No, actually, that was designed, the entire cemetery was designed at one time in 2010 by a company called Gulf Engineering Associates. So we have the entire design bought and paid for, and it's been sitting on the shelf, and we just add pieces as we continue.
Understand that, but the sprinkler system itself was designed back then?
Yeah,
that went in here and they designed those boxes at the lowest point of the corner?
It was, and that's a good question, and really there is some method to the madness there. Those boxes are at the lowest point because when we winterize those systems, we can use gravity to drain the
But if
pipes.
we don't get them winterized in time, they'll be full of water and bust, so that's, yeah, okay. All right. No, I appreciate that. I think it's a project that looks really nice. And I just challenge our Parks and Recreation to keep it looking just like it does today. And so that'll be a challenge, so, you with that. But it
Well,
looks really good.
I'm just glad we went with sod too. It looks awesome now.
Okay, nothing else, Councilmember Alsop.
If there's nothing else, I'll make a motion.
Okay.
I move to accept the construction of sanitary expansion, irrigation, and seeding project, or sod project, for the City of Shola project, PR 0516. Approve the change order in the amount of $1,227.81, released and retained and beginning the warranty period.
Have a motion, second by Vice Mayor. Any other discussion? Call for the vote. All those in favor? Any opposed? This is passed 7-0. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next item is summary of current events. Look to council members of any current events they'd like to summarize. Councilmember Alsop.
Thank you, Mayor. Attended a board meeting for the Meals on Wheels and Senior Center. We've had a change in the board. Hopefully, in another week or so, I can get names to you. We just voted some people in, and so there's going to be a change up there. And the next thing is the Farmers Market and Art Walk on Saturdays. It has been great, and if you haven't made it this year, at least try to attend it before this is over with. That's like next month. So they've been doing good, and it's just getting bigger and bigger, and we're just hoping next year it gets bigger. Thank you.
Any other council members? Now I'll just share a brief report here that we have. A reminder to our voters that August 30th is the primary election, which includes the congressional, statewide, county, and city elections. Any voter who wants to receive an early ballot in the mail has until this Friday, August 19th, to request one from the Navajo County by calling 1-800-668-3867. And voted ballots must be received no later than August 30th, the same day as the election. And if you want to cast your vote at the polls, they're open at 6 a.m. and close at 7 p.m. Shola voters can vote at either the city campus gymnasium on McNeil or the Frontier Conference Room in the Navajo County Health Building on North 9th Place. The city's ballot includes the mayor's seat with 1 candidate running, 3 council seats with 5 candidates running, and Proposition 407, asking voters to consider a permanent adjustment to the 1979-1980 base spending limit. This is like the home rule option, but instead of a temporary option that has to be approved every 4 years, this option means voters won't have to vote on this again for approximately another 20 to 30 years. The August utility bill includes an informational flyer about Proposition 407. Voters can also contact any council member if you have questions about this. The Shola Chamber of Commerce is hosting a candidate forum here in the council chambers this Thursday at 6 p.m., and voters are invited to attend. The forum will feature city council candidates first, followed by the candidates running for county sheriff. The forum will also be broadcast live on Shola TV, cable channel 56, and rebroadcast under special events. We just encourage all of our citizens to get out and to vote on August 30th there. City Manager.
Thank you, Mayor. Just for council's information, public, a new cafe called the Forever Young Cafe will open at the Shola Public Library on next Monday, August 22nd at 9 a.m. And the grand opening celebration is planned for Friday, August 26th at 10 a.m. The new operator is the White Mountain Meals on Wheels, and all proceeds will benefit the program. The cafe will offer coffee, tea, smoothies, pastries, soup, and sandwiches. Hours of operation are Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. The cafe is named in honor of an anonymous donor who funded most of the equipment, whose favorite song is Forever Young. Therefore, the name's Forever Young. The City of Shola, the town of Pinetop Lakeside, and Navajo County are sponsoring an 8th annual Electronic Waste Collection Day on Saturday, August 27th, from 8 a.m. to 1 p.m. at the county's Penrod Road facility. The event is open to area residents to take unwanted electronic items to the site for recycling.
TV,
Go ahead.
televisions also.
Yeah, televisions are allowed to be taken for the electronic waste. Also on Saturday, August 27th, Arizona Game and Fish will host a grand opening for the second Knoll target range at 9 a.m. The event will include opening remarks, a ribbon cutting ceremony, and a ceremonial first shot. The public shooting facility is a joint effort by Arizona Game and Fish, the Forest Service, and the White Mountain Shooters Association. The range, as if you're familiar with Second Knoll, is an unused cinder pit on the Forest Service land and includes a 50-yard range, 100-yard range, and 4 25-yard pistol bays. And they're also looking at some expansion of that range in the future. Second Knoll is about 4 to 4.5 miles from Show Low on US 60, on the south side of US 60. The Recreation Department's accepting registrations for co-ed volleyball and Start Smart sports programs for kids. Their number is 532-4140 for more information on those programs. And just to report on some public works projects, following some of the recent moisture we received, our public works crews are working on drainage issues and are currently working in the Westwood subdivision behind Ace Hardware and also in other areas that have drainage issues. The crews are also will begin replacing a water line along the Deuce Clubs in front of the new public safety building construction site. So that's some of the activity you'll see in the near future. Thank you.
Any seconds? Anything? All right. Scheduling of meetings, any meetings need to be brought up at this time? What we already have?
Mayor.
Just note that some of the council members will be going down to the League of City meeting Tuesday through Friday. They'll be held down in Scottsdale. We're grateful for that opportunity, as well as we'll be having some youth will be attending with us down there from the Show Low High School.
Couple other meetings just to make note of. We're planning a study session Tuesday, September 6th. We believe all the council's aware of this and that fit into their schedule. That'll be at 6 p.m. before the regular meeting. And then we want to make you aware that we're possibly needing a study session on a different topic on Tuesday, September 20th, if it works in all the council's schedule. And both of those would be at 6 p.m. If there's any conflicts, if you could let Ann or myself know, and we'll try to make a different date work. But we know the September 6th date was one that worked for all the council, so we'll go with that one. And then we'll evaluate the September 20th date.
Okay, appreciate it. Seeing any other business, look a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Motion to adjourn. All those in favor, say aye. Aye. Adjourn this meeting.